Hey everybody, this is Dark Side Elite here, and I wanted to have a good, decent little talk about Titans Season 2, Episode 9 called Atonement. This is the aftermath of Richard revealing what happened with Jericho, and I made a video earlier talking about a rumor mill running around about Jericho, and I won't put that out until after this episode, until after the episode called Fallen. And now this episode was actually pretty good. Um, I still believe that the whole Jericho situation was handled a little weird, but I'm willing to just shrug it off and just move on with it. It's a it's more in the fact that when Richard revealed the whole thing about it, it broke everyone up. They're just really fed up with the secretiveness with Richard and the fact that he's not telling everybody what's going on, and now the revelation that he lied to his team about what really happened with Jericho. It just really made everyone very upset at him, and now everybody just wants nothing to do with him. Um, but I think that the way they wrote Corey, she understands. She's understanding that, you know what? I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's going on, and all of you guys are at the blame. You're all at blame at this whole situation, and you're just now piling on Richard, and Richard's just taking it all on the chin because he's the leader of the team. And I feel the same way too. I feel that they latched everything onto Richard and didn't really understand that they all agreed to use this boy, and then they all agreed to not use him and wanted to be part of this team. So it's not like that Richard went behind everyone's back. And I think that that's where I feel that they really wrote that to make it sound like he went behind everyone's back. And it's not what happened. It's not what I saw. And what I saw was he that Donna got attacked by Deathstroke, got almost eviscerated by Deathstroke, and her handler and her team were completely massacred by Deathstroke. What do you think Richard's gonna do? He's gonna go immediately and try to take down Deathstroke. He's pissed off, and it makes sense. He would. He out of almost every one of them is probably the next highest trained out of all of them. I mean, Donna is trained, but I mean, this is the guy that's messing around with Batman, and Batman is not playing when it comes to training. So Richard should be more than qualified to be able to do something. And on top of that, what is Hawk and Dove going to do? They're going to get themselves even more killed by Deathstroke. So yes, he probably went after him without backup, but he's angry. And I mentioned in an episode, I mentioned in a video beforehand that when he arrived at the scene with Jericho, he should have told he should have revealed that, hey, your dad tried to kill Donna, and and try to make even stronger of a rift between father and son, because that's all Deathstroke's trying to do. He's trying to manipulate Jericho, his son, into believing that you know what, hey, I do what I have to do, but they're worse. They used you to get to me, and they used you to get to try to convince you and coerce you into either killing me or throwing me in jail. And that's the worst thing. So he was using family as an excuse to get away with what he was doing. And that's one of those type of things that, you could say whatever you want, but I said it before and I say it again. Slay loves his kids. Regardless, he loves his kids, but the way they wrote how Slade was in this whole situation, he wouldn't be that flamboyant about how he was attacking Richard. He would be very precise. He'd be very particular how he would attack Richard. He would make sure that he would minimize enough of the damage so his son would not get in harm's way. This one was just doing willy nilly, and in some ways it made no sense. He pulled out his sword, and like I said at the end of the episode, Jericho, he was about to stab down at Richard, and his son got in the way. Shouldn't he have? I mean, figure that out. I mean, his son was in the way. He thinks his son is not going to get in the way. Come on, man. That makes to me it makes no sense. It seems to me that the way they wrote it is that it's just they threw out all these situations, and it's up for us to interpret how this was supposed to be. To me, this was everybody's fault. This wasn't just Richard. This was Deathstroke. This was Richard. This was Titans. This was even Jericho's fault. Jericho should have never got himself involved in all of this. He should have just tried to stop his father by using his powers and froze him in place so Richard could get the heck out of the way. That's how he could have done it. I mean, he could have got, slapped Richard around, try to get him to wake up, and say, "Hey, get out of here, and I'll solve my dad." That's what they could have done. But he decided to try to jump in away like a hero, like he's Superman, and he got himself stabbed and killed. That doesn't make any sense. Um, now, everybody's pretty much telling Richard to go f off. They don't want to deal with him. You now have Hawk and Dove, Hank and Dawn. They're actually having a big gigantic rift. He's talking like that they can never get peace, and this whole time it's always been Hank and Dawn. It's maybe time to break up Hawk and Dove. It's time for this to happen. He's sick and tired of having all this death and misery around him, and he even attributes the fact that they got together because they both were in grief counseling, and they both had sex with each other for the first time over the fact that they basically beat his old molester completely almost to death, killing him, and they had sex. So it was like, what the heck is I mean, I can understand, but there's more we need to attribute, and I'm not saying that that's written wrong. What I'm saying is that there's more that we need to know from these characters. Um, Rose wants nothing to do with it because she's pissed off that all this had to happen. Jason is angry like hell because he feels like that he's only put on his team to basically be an experiment for Richard, or to get him out of the way because of Bruce. And that's not what Richard said it was. That was never the whole reasoning. We need to know that reasoning. Why did Bruce put Jason with Richard? I mean, he already knows that Jason has this big gigantic complex. He knows this already. So why did he put him there? My other thing is with Donna, because Donna should be the most out of everybody there. She should have been the most grief stricken over this whole situation, because not just over the fact that all this happened, is mainly the fact is she's the one that pushed this whole narrative. She's the one that pushed that Deathstroke should pay for the death of Garth, and also he should pay for the fact of what he did against her handler and those other the Mascarians. So there's a lot there, and she feels that it's this was all Richard's fault. You effing lied to us. That's pretty much some of the lines out of the episode. And I'm going, but wait, whoa. You helped do this. You pushed this whole narrative. So I'm feeling that they really didn't write that very well. And I know that people are going to try to go, nah, it's a throwaway line. No, it really isn't a throwaway line. You don't just say something like that as a throwaway line. We all know that Donna's the one that pushed everybody into wanting to go after Deathstroke. She's the one that pushed this whole narrative. Even though they brought Jericho into the mix, she's like, I don't care. He needs to pay for what happened with Garth. So she's the one that really pushed this whole narrative. And on top of that, she attacked Deathstroke when she knew that, okay, I'm going to need backup against this dude. He's probably going to kill me. If he could kill these women and effortlessly do it, then what the heck is he going to do to me? And that's why I go, there's a lot there that to me that makes little sense about this whole situation, because when it comes to story, if you're going to show me something, there's a lot more layers to it, and there's a lot more layers to how Donna was written in this whole season. She was antagonizing this whole situation. She was enabling Richard and wanted Deathstroke dead. She wanted Deathstroke dead. And she pushed this whole narrative. She didn't give two craps about Jericho. She really honestly didn't. I didn't see her really give two cares about him. She wanted Garth's murderer to pay. So that's how I saw it. Okay. But then everyone breaks up. Raven goes off with Donna, and then for some reason now Raven is now off on her own. She's like, I don't care. I'm out. She's like, no, I'm good. So she leaves Donna and disappears. and now you're getting more story about what's going to happen with Raven. Gar stayed because Richard told him, like, hey, once he wakes up, call Bruce. Just call Bruce and he'll know what to do with him. So Gar decides to have this big gigantic picnic with him. I mean, this not a picnic, but he decided to have this great outing with him and teach him how the outside world works, you know, how to be a hero and this and that. But Gar doesn't know how to be a real hero because he hasn't really been doing anything. And he saw two people attack this guy, and he's screaming out for help. But it's two police officers. And he attacks the police officers, and gets all this stuff taken on. And he now runs, and so does Gar. So now you have Connor and Crypto completely in the wind. And Gar's like, I don't know what to do. So he left, and now he's calling Richard to figure out what to do. So there's a lot going on there, and I'm hoping that they give more to Gar, and I hope that there's a lot more that we get from this. Um, the other thing that we got was that Richard went to Adeline's place to get a forgiveness on about what happened with Jericho. He goes there, and she tells him some lines, and he goes and he finally meets up with Slade, and Slade tells him that his revenge is complete. His revenge is complete. He destroyed the Titans. He made them into complete imbeciles, and they're so broken up that he tells them that if you try to bring back the Titans in any way, shape, or form, he's gonna kill them all. He doesn't care. And you're getting this weird little thing with Slade. Like there's something off with Slade. However, that what goes into the whole thing, what the rumor mill with Jericho, and I'm gonna leave it there with that. So this episode was no, I'm sorry. So basically, Richard decides, okay, I'm out. He disappears. He's gonna go to the four corners of the earth and just live out his life. But for some reason he decides something and attacks a security officer, beats the living crap out of him, and decides to put his hands behind his back and just gives up to the police. We don't know what's going on with that. And we're hoping that in this next episode, or maybe the next episode after that, we're getting what's going on with Richard and what's changing. And I'm sorry, what's changing. So we don't have a lot of information about this, and we're gonna have to figure out what's going on with that. Now, there's a lot of rumor mills about this whole situation, and I feel that rumor mills are good, but we shouldn't do anything about that until we see the episode, and that's how I personally feel about it. But hey, this episode is to me a 3.5. It's good, but it doesn't feel like there was a lot of action in there, and I feel that the storyline, they're really hammering home that this was all Richard's fault, and I go, no, this is not Richard's fault. It's everybody's fault. All of them screwed over Jericho. And I think that Rose said it best. She says, no, F you, F your team. You guys all killed Jericho. And she says, I'm out. I'm not a part of this. And she leaves. And I agree with her on that. Like, wait a minute. Yeah, you all did this to him. You all basically got him killed. And I personally feel that. I feel that they all are at fault with this. They should have never, ever, ever, ever brought Jericho in the middle of this situation. Richard should have told him flat point blank, no, don't go see your dad. He's going to manipulate you. He should have warned him what his dad's going to do. And 3, if they were ever going to confront him with Deathstroke, they should have told Deathstroke that you tried to kill Donna, and you're going to have to pay for that. And you murdered like 6, 7 different people. So there's a lot of things he did that he basically going to have to pay for. And I think that that's what they're going to do. I don't think they're going to kill Deathstroke. I think that basically Deathstroke's going to get arrested and he's going to get thrown in jail. I think we're going to see him get thrown in jail. If they kill Deathstroke in this season, I'm going to be very, very, very livid. And I will be so upset if they kill Slade. I'm appreciating what S.I. Morales is doing. I just kind of don't like his Deathstroke. However, I can appreciate what he's doing. All right. I can appreciate what the writing is, and I can appreciate that he's doing everything he can to be that guy. And To me, he doesn't feel intimidating. To me, he doesn't feel like intimidating to me. He doesn't feel intimidating. He feels like he doesn't feel like he has the overwhelmingness that like a Manu can do, or in some ways Joe Maniello. Joe Maniello is a huge dude, and Manu Bennett is a pretty big guy, and we've already seen what he could do as a physical person, and him playing as Deathstroke was phenomenal. And we did, and I'm only adding Joe to the mix because we've seen what he could do, and we know, and there's a lot of instances that he stated that he went back to the drawing board about how to portray Deathstroke, and he went back to the comics. So I'm only gonna say that because he looked like Deathstroke. He looked like a Slade Wilson. He looked military. He looked like he was ready to kill somebody. But the thing is that again, I'm only saying it from the look of what they were doing. I'm not. I'm also saying that how they're doing Manu. I'm sorry, not Manu, but S.I. Morales' version. He does look pretty intimidating, but the thing is, he doesn't feel intimidating to me. So, but I feel that Manu is very intimidating. He has that stare. He has that manliness that you feel that, man, this guy can kick the crap out of you and walk away, and you know you're not going to get a punch off. And that's how I feel about Deathstroke. So like, comment, share, subscribe down below. Hit that bell. I will have some videos out. I am gonna have that video about what I believe the rumor mill about Jericho is, and I'm also gonna have some talks about some of the Snyder news, and I will have some news about a lot of things that's gonna be going on, and also what I'm gonna be working on, maybe an intro or an outro. I gotta work with Hawk about that and how we're gonna do that. So there's a lot of things I want to do and a lot of things I want to have, and we're gonna try to have that happen. Okay, you guys have a great one, and thanks for joining me. You have a great one. Bye.